Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Cole, and today I wanted to talk to you about a tip that I have sort of figured out just in the last couple of years, and it's something that's been super, super helpful for me as a teacher. So students, you're off the hook for this one. So this has to do with wait time. Now, normally as teachers, we're told to use wait time after we ask a question to make sure that students have the opportunity to think about it and we don't just rush on and give them the answer when they could have come up with it themselves. This is the other way around. When students have a question for us, but we haven't actually finished explaining things yet, and a lot of the times the question that a student has is actually something that we're going to be getting to like just a minute. So this is a way to encourage students to wait. One of the things that I found out was that I felt frustrated when I had a student, I'm in the middle of explaining something. I'm glad they're thinking about it. I'm glad they're paying attention. But even if they don't blurt something out, it's still frustrating to have that train of thought just stopped. And it's also frustrating that they want their question answered like right now. And I'm like, I'm getting to it. Please trust me. Or sometimes it's something that hadn't occurred to me, or I wasn't planning to explain in this lesson. It's something that comes up, tomorrow or the next day. And if I jump into that now, it messes with the sequence of things, and the lesson that I'm giving is going to make less sense because things don't flow as much as they otherwise would have. What I found out was students were willing to not ask right away. If I say, let me finish going over the lesson and then I will absolutely take your question, they would do that. There's some frustration there because they want to be listened to, which is totally valid. But what would happen is I'd say, okay, I'm done with the lesson. What was your question? They would have forgotten it. And what happens there is they carry that feeling with them. So what I've started doing is pausing the lesson so that I can address that student. And I say, hold that thought. Like literally, make some fists. Hold on to it. Can you hold on to your question until I'm done with the lesson? And I literally say, yes, I can do it, or no, I can't. Because I want you to think about that while I'm, hold on to it in the back of your mind. Be thinking about it as I'm continuing so that you can let me know whether or not you still have that question or if I address it. And I have a tub of paper on my desk, little snippets. So they're actually just like quarter sheets of old worksheets and syllabus, rubrics, it looks like, student registration, things that I'm supposed to hand out to students. And you always make a few extra copies because it's better to have too many than not enough, because then you can't just go to the copier willy-nilly. Like, you got students you got to watch. That's in my student safety video. So I have, scrap paper on my desk, and I'll say, I encourage students as they're coming in, make sure you have some scrap paper. Just keep it in your portfolio. Take out a piece of scrap paper so you're not wasting an entire sheet. So if you can't hold on to the question, just write it down and then hold on to it on the paper. And what happens then is then I can either answer the question after instruction where it's not going to mess with the flow, or I get to it, they look at the question and they say, oh, no, you answered that. And so what happens with that is it builds trust rather than tearing it down. Because when students forget about the question that they were going to ask, they don't have a way to have it addressed. It's like, well, she didn't answer my question. Maybe I did. And you just don't remember what it was. But that's not how they're going to see it. And by encouraging them to be thinking about the question while I continue with the lesson, it also keeps them more engaged in the lesson as well. And then either I can say, okay, tell me what your question was. And if it's something that I haven't thought of, that's a way to deepen the lesson. And it also personalizes it for that student. And it shows the other students that I'm willing to listen and I'm willing to address their concerns. Or if they say, you actually already answered it, I might follow up with, what was it? Because I just want to know. I want you to tell me things. And that builds the trust of Miss Cole knows what she's doing. And, if I have a question, I can trust that it will be answered. And just that one little change has been so helpful. So I really encourage you as a teacher to do what you can to have students remember their questions. Don't just say, okay, I'll get your question later. Have them write it down or encourage them to be thinking about it, or maybe tell it to a neighbor real quick so that something reinforces what the question is, so that then you can come back and address it at a more appropriate time. So, little tip has been super helpful for me. I hope that it's helpful for you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Also, don't forget to leave me comments. I am really, really pleased with those of you who are just talking to me, and I can't wait to hear from you. Bye, everybody.